Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of Brooklyn Blues. And this week we're going to talk about pick angle. I know it doesn't sound very exciting, but it's exceptionally important. Off the top, to me, tone is super important in my guitar playing, or any guitar player that I like always has a really big tone. And people always talk about the tone being in your hands, and I always assume that you're just talking about the left hand, right? But a huge part of it, of course, makes perfect sense, comes from your right hand. If we're talking about picking, it comes down to the kind of pick you use and the angle at which you hold your pick. And also the angle in which you hold your pick can really help with your speed and accuracy. And I'm not talking about just playing fast, I'm talking about playing with accuracy and having a good tone. I came from kind of a shredder background when I was younger, and I still love a lot of that stuff. So I'm going to reference Eric Johnson and Yngwie Malmsteen a little bit, but let's just check out a quick video from my classroom on pick angle. All right, it's come to my attention that I don't talk about my picking enough, and it is something I really had spent a lot of time on, and still do actually, but something I really spent a lot of time on when I was younger, because I was really into guys like most of the guys my age, guys like Yngwie Malmsteen and Eric Johnson and Eddie Van Halen, and all the faster players. Now I want to comment, when I say faster, I also really mean all the really accurate players. So for me, it was really important at that point for me to really kind of bump up my technique, not to just to play fast. I just loved how these guys just nailed what it was that they were trying to play. And certainly in the case of Eric Johnson, and Yngwie, of course, just really great sounding players. So first thing I want to talk about is just the kind of pick I like to use, and that is the Dunlop Jazz 3. This is the Ultex Jazz 3. There's a number of different ones out there. There's like the Eric Johnson one that I gave a shot to, which wasn't really my favorite for the way I like to play or the sound that I have in my head, but it's cool. There's the regular Jazz 3s, there's black ones, there's the red ones, different thicknesses, and so I highly recommend you go and grab a bunch if you want to get into playing with the Jazz 3. What turned me around to Jazz 3s was really wanting to play more accurately and play a little faster. And I came to them later in life, and then I started to realize like that was a big part of the equation. And look, Eric Johnson uses one, and I know Joe Bonamassa uses one, and I mean Yngwie doesn't, so there goes the idea of that they help with accuracy. But for a mere mortal like myself, it really helped quite a bit to go with the smaller pointed tip on this thing. So that gave me a lot of increased accuracy. So it's hard to get that together sometimes. So the first thing I want to talk about is the pick angle, and that was really big for me to get the right pick angle. And I was happy enough to fortunately kind of have it since I started, just because I had a good teacher talking about that you should have the pick facing this way. So I'm holding the pick at this kind of angle. So I'll use my nail file, a pink nail file, and you'll see kind of the angle that I have the pick at against the strings here. So I'm always cutting into the string that way. And I kind of have it facing downwards a little bit like this too. So when I play a note, now if I could play with that, I can't quite keep that in my hand, but let me see what I can get. Like, right? So it's not angling either direction. The first thing you really, really want to avoid is a parallel picking motion to the strings. First of all, I don't know if you can hear the tonal difference, but that's angled and then parallel. It's a much thinner sound, and it's also I feel like the pick gets kind of stuck up in the strings. So here I just angle the pick. Let's get a better angle here. Here we go. If you use the red one here for a second, maybe see the pick a little better. There we go. So it's kind of tilting back. Okay, so there's really that cutting into the string here. If I go from this angle, don't see the pick, but you see my hand motion there. So it's really coming from my wrist. I'm not really changing the pick angle. It's just kind of moving across, gliding across the strings this way with the same angle. So you have to be careful that when you go higher and lower, you don't do this. I'm not doing that. I'm doing that. So it's the same. Of course, I'm going to slice against the strings this way, or at that angle, because that's just the way your arm naturally moves. But I'm not changing my wrist. My wrist remains straight. For me, the tone is so different. Here's parallel once again. Hope you can hear it to this mic, and then angled. Big difference in sound here. And the other thing I like to do is I'll even use the round part of the pick. I know Robin Ford does this, and other guys, Michael Landau, some of my favorite players, and use the round part. Pointy. Round. Well, the difference is, I think, is obvious here. This is a lot warmer with the round spot. But, you know, you lose a lot of accuracy because you're losing the point of the pick. The tip of the pick, I should say. So I use it depending on what it is I'm playing. If I'm playing something slower, I'll often turn the pick around. Want to play something faster, I will use the pointy part of the pick. So that'd be the first little lesson. I really want you to experiment with the pick angle, but this is where you want to have it point. That's really kind of, look, there's plenty of people do different things, but having kind of looked at guys who play fast, you know, the guys who I always look to, I really liked, who are faster guitar players, there's a lot of this angle seems to be the way to do it. Some of the jazz guys, I think Matheny picks this way, I can't remember off the top of my head, but you know, it's always that sort of angle going on here. But the guys, like I said, for me, you know, that really changed it up for me was Eric Johnson, because he played fast in a way that I really liked, as opposed to the posting bay guys who are more sweep arpeggio-y and stuff like that. Is that a word? Arpeggio-y? All right, so the first thing, like I said, before I get into economy picking, is which I ended up doing because I liked the sound of it, and Eric Johnson, basically. I wanted to sound like Eric Johnson for a while. That kind of thing, which is economy picked, and that really relies quite a bit on the pick angle as well. So I can talk about that in a different video, but what I'd like you to do is to just experiment with the angle of your pick. Now, this may be obvious to some people, but to some people it's not. And how that affects your tone and your accuracy. Alright, check it out. Pick angle. If you like what you saw here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and you get an alert for all these free lessons. Also, please check out my website, jeffmcErlain.com, and you can find out information about the courses I do with TrueFire, my online classroom, and private lessons. So, till next time, thanks.